Aloha. Thank you for tuning in to episode number 41. My name is Christina Estrada, partner of Booyah Marketing, where we have deeper connections. Today, our returning honored guest is Suzanne Kellner-Zinck with 30 plus years of experience working in mental health, specializing in holistic healing through hypnosis, helping clients quickly address the root causes of emotional illness when traditional mental health approaches have failed. Public speaker, author, podcaster, a mover and a shaker, setting souls free to live their purpose on purpose. How are you, Suzanne?
Very well, thank you. Very
Oh,
lovely to be with you again, Christina.
thank you, thank you. Yes. So, what are some of the unique challenges that CEOs and C suite executives have to deal with given their positions?
Well, as you know, they're kind of at the top of the corporate ladder. So how many people do they have who can relate to what they're going through? Quite frankly, very few. So that kind of sets them off on their own. They need to be role models for their employees, which means that they need to be kind of superhuman in a lot of ways, although we do know that quite a few of them are sociopathic, but that aside, the more humane ones, they're human beings. They have issues like anybody else. And they're in a situation where they have to hold a lot of that stuff in. And then if they're dealing with emotional problems, they can get depressed or anxiety ridden, have bad marriages like anybody else. What happens when they talk to a conventional mental health provider who is wrapped up into the electronic medical records where all their crap can be seen? And if a board of director member, the corporation they work at, or one of the other CEOs, if there's multiple CEOs, because in some companies there are for different departments, they can lose their jobs. So this is a really big problem that they have. And the problems that they're dealing with, not too many people can relate to. Because running a big, huge corporation, especially those folks who have hundreds, tens of thousands. I had a CEO who worked for a multinational company, and she had 35,000 employees under her all over the world that she had to somehow work with. And there were two or three of them that caused her a lot of difficulties, and she didn't really know how to handle it. So we did some work in helping her to do that, among other things. So they do have very unique situations that they have to contend with very few people really understanding the problems that they're dealing with and who can they confide in. A lot of them, they do have business coaches and mentors given to them by the corporations. But, you know, if you're a person who, like my client, one of my clients, saw a ghost, well, there's a lot of people out there in the psychiatric world who would put her into a psych ward because she must be psychotic. No, she was not psychotic, never was psychotic. Some people just have these abilities, other people do not. And the people through the ages understood this stuff. But, if you look at the way that psychiatric world works, they don't understand any of this stuff. They just want to basically label everybody with problems, put them on a bunch of toxic medications forever, and tell them what they can and cannot do with their lives. Bunch of bullshit, but that's a different story for another day. So you understand that if that kind of information got out through the electronic record system, that could be a problem. So these are the things that they need to be really concerned about. Who do they trust? That's really the number
Ah,
one thing. And many of them, I've tried so many other things that have failed them. So they don't really know how to get the help they need.
so, what can they do to alleviate these challenges?
Well, if they're smart, they'll find a hypnotist or somebody who works totally outside the so-called medical industrial complex. That would be step number one. So your private stuff is private. I'm not licensed, so I don't have to abide by HIPAA laws and all the garbage that goes with that. Which in the state of Massachusetts, I found out from a person who came to see me for her son's issues. She's a psychologist. She told me that even if they saw a patient of theirs in a supermarket shopping, they had to report it in their file. Why? Whose business is this? I mean, this is the kind of bullshit, you're dealing with.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I don't have to do any of that reporting. Obviously, confidentiality is the utmost for my clients. And basically, it's about being sensitive to their needs and really being willing to listen and learn from them. I mean, this particular client should be gone for like 3 to 6 weeks at a time, going to meetings after meetings after meetings all over the country. in different countries, and it was very exhausting. And her daughter was raised by her husband and her au pair because her mom was not there that much. But the kid came out really in really, really good shape. She's doing great. I just saw her actually last year, and she's doing amazingly well. She's graduating from MIT with a master's in engineering and doing very, very well because her mama forced her to do STEM studies. Her
Oh
mama
my
taught.
gosh. So you have a workshop coming up on November 11th, the Language Learning Lab. Tell us what you developed it and why these executives should participate in it.
Well, no, there's a very big difference between how one says certain things or the words they use, and sometimes executives can be too directive, or they'll come across in such a way as the employees might feel threatened, or maybe won't even understand what they're being asked to do in a lot of cases. So I put together this program specifically for CEOs and C-suite executives so that they could learn how to communicate with their employees and their board of directors, because they have to meet certain numbers or they won't have a job for their board of directors. And if you don't get along with your board of directors, that can be a problem too. And actually, another one of my CEO clients had that problem big time, which was no fun to get through. But they need to be able to relate to people in a way that's clear, jargon-free, and with explanations that build the trust that's practical and not theoretical for them to be able to truly communicate in a way that these people in their roles need them to communicate. So there's 7 language patterns from NLP that are really easy to implement. And what they're going to be doing is they're going to be in a workshop, only 30 people max, because they each need to have time to really practice with one another and really learn how to implement these things. So when they leave, they know exactly how to implement it. This isn't a thing that we're talking about theory, no theory. It's all learning what they are and then learning how to apply them correctly so that communication is no longer a problem. And if you generalize this, not only is it helpful in their workplace, but also in their family dynamics and with their friends too, right? So in 2 hours, they're going to learn how to do these 7 key NLP language patterns. They're going to practice them, as I said, and they're going to have greater influence and build greater confidence in them as the role models and the leaders of the companies that they are, and be able to really have a framework that ensures leaders not only understand the theory behind the NLP language patterns, but also gain hands-on practice. Because if you don't have practice, you're not going to know how to implement it. And I never do any training where my trainees are incapable of doing exactly what I train them to do. The goal of a training, definition of a training, as far as I am concerned, is being able to emulate and get the same successful results I get, the trainees will get upon completing the programs that they take with me. So that is what it's all about. And I created it because really, truly, they do have these unique issues, and they do have to learn how to communicate better, because how many employees? Every person is so different.
Mm-hmm.
And they learn differently. Some of them are visual, some are auditory, some of them are kinesthetic, meaning they learn through their feelings and doing stuff. And then they have different perceptions of stuff, and they have different understandings of stuff. So things can get really, really complicated. And if you're talking about tens of thousands of employees, how in the hell do you communicate with them? Well, this is your answer, people.
Wonderful. So Tuesday,
2 hours.
November 11th, yes?
Yeah, it's
125.
November 11th, from 9:30 to 11:30 a.m. Eastern time. In 2 hours, you're going to learn everything you need to know to up your communication skills and never have communication be a problem, so long as you implement what I teach you.
I love it. I love it. Communication's so important. So how do people
It
get in
is.
contact with you?
Well, you're going to have actually the in the description, you'll have the PayHip store URL to that so that you can get the information regarding it. And to contact me directly, it's Suzanne at dawningvisions.com. So dawning, having a lot of different ideas dawn upon you, dawning, visions, seeing a lot of stuff. So Suzanne at dawningvisions.com. And put asterisks in there like 3 asterisks in the subject line and just say, have questions or interested in learning more about your learning language labs, so that I know that that's an important thing and it doesn't get messed up and confused with thousands of other emails from the people who I prefer not to hear from, actually. This is so often the case with people who own their own businesses, as they all know, being CEOs and having to interact with thousands of people in some cases.
Mm. Mahalo nui loa, Suzanne Kellner-Zinck, for your time. Any parting words you would like to say to the viewers?
Communication is the most important thing we have in terms of relating with other folks. And the environments in which we live and work are so important, which means that if you are a CEO and a sweet executive, it is your responsibility to have a working environment that works for your employees so they can be engaged, enthusiastic, productive, and help you meet your revenue goals. Or you know what will happen if that doesn't happen. I don't have to tell you. You've probably lived it before. Just saying.
Mahalo. I will put Suzanne Kellner-Zinck information down below in the description box. Please click the subscribe, notification, and thumbs up. If you would also like to donate to the channel, we appreciate it. It helps us build our content. My name is Christina Estrada, partner of Booyah Marketing. A hui ho. Until we meet again. Aloha! Please come join us with Suzanne Kellner-Zinck. Live Google Meet Wednesday at 9:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time, Tuesday, November 11th, 2025, for the Leadership Language Lab. A hui ho. Until we meet again.